Hello everybody and welcome to this video that is also another weird video I'm doing. A type of video I've never done before, at least in this world. So today I'm going to be doing a commentary track to the 1973 film Bukowski by Taylor Hackford. I don't know if this is the full version. I think it is, but there might be another version out there that's a bit longer. This is the version I think that aired on TV, I think, because this is 43 minutes. And a 43-minute show is typically pretty solid for an hour-long show with commercials. I might be pausing it to talk about stuff if there's stuff that I feel like I need to talk about. If there's not, then I'll just let it play and we can just watch this together, okay? For those of you who don't know, Taylor Hackford is a director. He was the head of the Directors Guild for a bit. I'm going to go down a list of movies that he's made here. This was his first film in 73, Bukowski. Then he did Teenage Father, The Idol Maker, An Officer and a Gentleman, Against All Odds, White Nights, Hail, Hail, Rock and Roll, Everybody's All American, Blood In, Blood Out, Dolores Claiborne, The Devil's Advocate, Proof of Life, Ray, Love Ranch, Parker, and The Comedian. And he is also married to Helen Mirren. So there you go. From humble beginnings, let's say, this dude pulls it off. All right, let's do this before I fucking give up.
I'm the poet. What am I? I'm the poet.
What kind of a poet?
Modern. I've been in this neighborhood about 10 years.
I never saw you before.
Yeah. You been in here much?
I live right in the neighborhood all the time.
Where, down on Normandy?
No, up here I went on.
I guess we have different hangovers at different times.
I guess so. Yeah.
So, yeah, well.
A modern poet?
Yeah, you should buy some of my name's Bukowski. Buy my books, Bukowski.
B-U?
You rhyme with puke, yeah.
Bukowski?
Yeah. So, okay, there you go. There's your money.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll let you know.
yeah, I wish you would.
Oh shit. Okay, I don't know if you guys caught that, but she's like, "What is this? What are you filming?" And he's like, him, and he's like, "I'm a poet," and she's like, "A Polak?" Oh fuck me.
With one punch, at the age of 16 and a half, I knocked out my father. A cruel, shiny bastard with
This poem's
bad
called The
breath.
Rat.
But I didn't go home for some time. Only now and then to try to get $1 from dear mama. Everybody was disgusted with poetry. You know, when I was a kid, the poet is a sissy. The poet's nothing, and it was true. They are, a lot of them. Not meaning being a sissy. By sissy, I mean they're missing the point, you know? Like guys are fighting in the schoolyard, and one guy gets a punch in the mouth, and you're watching this. Another guy gets his head pushed down in a fountain. He comes up with a mouthful of blood. These things are never explained, you know. The realities were never explained. Everything was hidden in poetry. The reason I kept writing was because, not because I was so good, but because they were so damn bad.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. This is the neighborhood.
That's the Griffith Observatory right
I was
there.
a postal clerk and a carrier. I've been around. I know this town. And I probably carried mail right on this street half a dozen times. I used to work all the stations as a sub. Yeah. I probably carry this street right here, you know. I know the town.
For how long?
Oh, I only carried 3 or 4 years. I was a clerk the rest of the time. But still, you know it that way. You learn the cell number.
I think he carried
you
for
get to
2
think
years.
of LA in your bones, you know. I think the gods have been kind of good to me. Just kept me where I belong. Kept me where I belong. Not too much. Just right, you know. I can walk down the street, nobody knows me. Except the guys in the liquor store. They read something in the LA Times. Something came out. I'll go in for a beer, you know, buy some beer. This guy says, "Wings of Song." He knows me. But anybody else, they don't know me. They don't know who the hell I am, and it's good. It's good.
That dining room table, I would lose my fucking mind if that was my dining area. But the rest of this looks quite familiar. Oh shit. Oh, the sounds are even familiar. That's amazing.
Well, okay. This is it. This is where I live. 8 years worth here. I wrote a lot of shit in this place. Some shit, some good stuff too. Well, I drink, play the horses, sleep. And there are women. There's some women involved.
There always is.
Well, there's Linda and Liza. They're almost spelled alike. They're entirely different. One's young, Linda. She's 20 years younger. She gives me a lot of shit. She's got some bad ways, let's admit it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean betrayal like that. I mean more or less a spiritual betrayal. She comes on to guys. She's young, so you have this type of thing.
He's really better natured than I am. He really is. I've got a worse temper than he has. Ooh, that's awful.
And that's Linda King.
I don't approve of it myself. He's 20 years older. I kept thinking, oh, hell, you know.
And then there's Liza, the other one. She's older, in her early 40s.
These shots are
Has a
amazing.
record company. Has money in her pocket. What you call mature. Like she said, I've lived long enough to become a good woman. Now, there's a lot of wisdom in that statement.
I felt very compassionate towards him.
And that's Liza. And
I
they
felt
almost
the
look
alcohol
exactly
thing was
alike.
a
It's
sickness.
hysterical.
And he'd sort of wake up in the morning and he couldn't breathe. He was practically having a heart attack because he was, so full of liquor. I really would panic, and I'd say to him, well, look, Hank, I know you have to drink a certain amount. Can't you cut it down to like 1 6-pack and, your health and so on. And I felt like a custodian in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but, I was always very protective and very sympathetic, and I never fought with him because I figured that the things that he did, he couldn't help but do, that he was a very disturbed person.
But still, that something is missing that Linda has, man. All the trouble, all the travail, man.
His face is so amazing to
I don't know what's
photograph.
the problem.
Like, it's just...
Well,
Good
I'm
God.
going to give a reading up at Frisco, Poets Theater. I'll take
You're not
Linda
supposed to
along,
say
we'll see what
Frisco,
happens.
just so you know.
I don't know. I look for trouble.
Who's putting the reading on?
Fairland Getty. Something called a Poets Theater. They said there's supposed to be 400 people there. I look for 40, 45.
Look at those outfits, dude. Amazing.
Thank you.
God, that plane is so loud. Oh, what a crack up.
Yeah, we'll get back.
I wish I knew what that dude's name was. Mutton Chops there. He makes a couple appearances in here. I've never been able to figure
We
that out.
expect the pack, we're probably going to turn people away. We sold 400 tickets already. Probably going to have between 750 and 800 people. I think we can fit in there.
Having 800 people at this thing, when he said that to him, I bet he almost shit himself right there. Because I think he was freaking out at 400. And now you're doubling that? City Lights Bucks. That's in North Beach, I think, is where it is, yeah?
City Lights is, in the last year, has started presenting major poets, ones with either big international reputation or ones American poets who I believe are major writers in this country. And at the moment, like, what else is happening besides Bukowski? As far as I'm concerned, he's in the tradition of Henry Miller more than Hemingway. I think he's really going to make it big as a national,
Look at that
international
face, dude.
writer.
Fuck. That was the same image they used on the cover of Erections.
Well, we'll bring it off. A lot of people out there? Yeah, a lot of people. Gotta bring it off then, right? There's no choice. I'm enough of a bastard to carry it off even if I feel bad. I'm gifted. I don't know where it comes from, but it's there. Okay, it's 25 to 9. You know, it is easier working in a factory or something, to an extent. There's no pressure. You might lose your job, but, I think I made a mistake here somewhere. It was my main bitch. You create art in a lonely fashion to be, once you create it, you're done with it. The stage shit is bad. It's really bad, instinctively. It's really bad. I don't feel good about it. They're there to see you die. They want to see blood, vomit. They want to see you fail. They want to see you succeed. They want the whole bag of you. They want to see your intestines, everything. It's bad shit.
He wants to run so
What am I
bad.
doing it for? Okay, you're lining up around the corner. Lining up around the corner. You got a little pot on the stage I can vomit in? Yeah, I'm not kidding. Cheap Italian wine, man. You guys really fucked me up. Okay, you got the poems?
Like, I don't know how he would have worked now. I think he would have loved it, how easy it is to publish. But at the same time, I think he would have freaked out thinking that he had to, like, promote himself. There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charles Bukowski.
And again, this reading he's doing here is where Poems and Insults comes from.
Listen, you guys, I've been drinking some bad wine.
And that's a fridge behind him.
So I may have to leave sideways in something really bad stuff, one of your little Italian restaurants up the street. They put a cork in the bottle, but Amplitude, do you hear me? All right. I look good? That's better. Okay, let's get started. What the hell? Come on. Let's collect our money and get the hell out of here and really make it. Number one, law. Look, he told me, all those little children dying in the trees. And I said, what? And he said, look. And I went to the window, and sure enough, here they were hanging in the trees, dead and dying. And I said, what does it mean? And he said, I don't know, it's authorized. The next day I got up, and they had dogs in the trees, dead and hanging and dying. And I turned to my friend, and I said, what does it mean? And he said, don't worry about it. It's a way of things. They took a vote. It was decided. And the next day it was cats. I don't see how they caught all those cats so fast and hung them in the trees, but they did. And after bacon and eggs the next day, my friend pulled his pistol on me across the coffee and said, let's go. And we went outside. And here were all these men and women in the trees, most of them dead or dying. And he got the rope ready, and I said, what does it mean? And he said, it's authorized, constitutional, it passed the majority. And he tied my hands behind my back, then opened the noose. I don't know who's going to hang me, he said, when I get done with you. I suppose when it finally works down, there'll be just one left, and he'll have to hang himself. Suppose he doesn't, I asked. He has to, he said. It's authorized. Oh, I said, well, let's get on with it.
They cut out the part about the horses. And I think they cut it out because he stumbles on his words.
God, all you guys belching and puking. You guys are drunker than I am. What the hell?
Listen to them fucking applauding him drinking a fucking beer. Unreal, dude.
Liquor's like a symphony or like a classical song or something. You don't use it as a downer, you use it as to leap up into the sky, or when you're in pain, or when you have depression. You use it to get yourself out of the common. I'm so tired of people who are sober every day. I can't understand people who are just walking up and down sober, and they live and they die their lives, and never get drunk, they never get sick, they never have hangovers. They just go around drinking fruit juice, eating eggs, bacon.
I do not like her haircut there.
They never get up, they never get down, they never get sick, they never get high, they never go crazy. Style. Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dull thing with style is preferable to doing a dangerous thing without it. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art. Bullfighting can be an art. Boxing can be an art. Loving can be an art. Opening a can of sardines can be an art. Not many have style. Not many can keep style. I have seen dogs with more style than men, although not many dogs have style. Cats have it with abundance. When Hemingway put his brains to the wall with a shotgun, that was style. Or sometimes people give you style. Joan of Arc had style. John the Baptist, Christ, Socrates, Caesar, Garcia Lorca. I've met men in jail with style. I've met more men in jail with style than men out of jail. Style is a difference, a way of doing, a way of being done. 6 Hurons standing quietly in a pool of water, or you walking out of the bathroom naked without seeing me.
I think that's a different version of that poem than in the printed version. I think. I always think that when I see this and I never check it.
Do I know you? Don't push me around, baby. I'll take... Never mind. One more beer. I'll take you all of you.
See, now he's drunk and crazy.
Shit. I knew. Okay, I want you to hate me anyhow. Get on? I'm getting bored, baby. So am I. I'm getting bored with you. Ellie over all. The future human race. The Charlie Bukowski. Yeah! Yeah! She's great. She's the only woman who's ever matched me out of all my centuries. She's powerful. And that's it. That's all I got to say. This is Linda King. Let's hear first.
Are you a gambling man?
I've always been a gambling man.
You eat peanuts that fall on the floor?
You sure you're not Jewish? No, baby. I changed tires for Sears Roebuck. I have played gamble at the heart of the world. I've come up with constipation of life. So what do you expect me to do? I have more than ulcers.
What do you have more than those?
10,000 times worse than ulcers. I have hemorrhoids, bad heart, bad breath, bad nose. Let's get all drunker and shit. Fuck all this. Peanuts and all this.
Well, beer and cheese.
You want to fuck me? Well, fuck me.
I don't do things like that, thank you.
No, fuck?
No, why should I? There's more important things to do than fuck.
What do they do than fuck? You give me any more goddamn shit, I'm gonna lay you out.
Right in front of his chick.
What do you want, motherfucker?
And then we wonder why this happened. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. What a train wreck.
Everything happened, man. Everything. This is a result of a night with Bukowski, man. You know, that's what it was.
Building a legend, dude.
I expected
Unreal.
it to happen, but I didn't. I was hoping it wouldn't. Well, I had a guy here this morning, and it was a mess. The place was a mess. What happened last night, there was a small fight. Somebody got pushed into the window and got knocked out. Linda got all pissed off at everything. She fought with him. She bit him. She scratched him. And she split forever, I guess. And that's all
And
I
this
know,
is
man.
one of the
It happened very
things
fast
where I
and
think
ended.
a lot of this was Blazek involved in this. But it never is said, so we never know.
Sorry, you Kelsey. What happened to you?
Look. Jesus. Look.
What happened after we left?
Well,
No.
My whole night was keeping these guys separated, the big tough guy and the delicate guy, man. I said, man, if you're going to fight me, baby. Show some guts. Okay. Then Linda leans out the window and she says, you broke the window. Why did you break the window? And she keeps hollering to the guy and he's leaning back. Oh, Linda. And she says, you broke the window. I said, what are you talking to that guy, man? He's leaning on this kid. I said, I hate his guts. Now you're leaning out the... You're jealous. I said, no, you're not doing the right thing. He was an asshole tonight. You're talking to him. She's madder than hell, you know. All of a sudden we're wrestling in the room there, and she said, I'll kill you, you son of a bitch. I'll kill you. I'm down the corner. I'm too drunk to fight back. And I think, God, maybe she will kill me, man. So I don't know when all this happened. I ran in here and I locked myself in. I said, the hell with you, bitch. You're out of my life. She kicked the door in.
You don't know where she is?
No, I don't. I'm going back to Liz. I hope. Okay, now don't take sides. If Linda walked in right now, I might say, hi, kid.
I'm just fucking scared, dude. Jesus
no
Christ.
chance.
What is this? Oh, shit.
Hey, Norris, baby.
Okay, so this is Harold Norse.
You will. That face? You know last night what I did?
Yeah, what did you do?
I'm trying to stop a guy from whipping on a fag. The guy was a really nice guy. I liked it. I shouldn't call him a fag. He was a nice guy. But he was small, and the guy's trying to play the Bukowski game. You know, beat the shit out of you and all that.
He doesn't know it's just a game, right?
That's
Now,
right.
Harold
He's
Norse.
serious. God. God, he's working on the guy saying, hey, man, don't hit the kid. What the hell?
Harold Norse
These
is
are the nice
gay.
things about my poetry. So
And
I'm trying to
he
separate
really
them.
cared for
Rolling down the
Bukowski,
fairway.
like, for a
What are you doing,
period.
putting on a 1930s show for the folks?
And so that's why Bukowski was like, oh yeah, I shouldn't say
Like a
that.
fucking fool.
And even back then, I think people were fine saying that.
My dick's
Like-
the same
What
size
is this?
now.
Is that this thing? I mean, what is this for? People are going to watch educational television. Oh, they'll be educated, man. Hank is the old educator. Socrates come back to corrupt us all.
Do it now. Do it.
What did you think of the reading last night? What did you think of the audience?
I think I gave a good reading. I liked the audience because about 1/3 of them hated my guts. I could hear in between poems, you know, after each poem they go, that son of a bitch. That only stimulated me to do the next one.
God, you want to check or you want to
Give me any goddamn thing.
Let a man
Lord, Christ. Where are you, behind you or what? All right.
I'll give you
The great Lawrence Ferlinghetti and the great Charles Bukowski.
You go, kid. 400 in there.
Okay. Hey, beautiful.
Sure, great Charles. You deserve it.
God. Really? Poetry. I love poetry. It's better than pussy.
And that chick's like, oh my god.
Is that the most you've been paid? $400 for an hour?
Oh, hell yeah. This is my big night. So, take care of it for me, will you, kid? Thank you. Oh, wow. Christ, I used to work for 35 cents an hour. Now, okay, nothing to worry about. Turn out the next line.
God, his face is all fucked up, dude.
Listen, tell Liza that I really mean it. Look, this is no fuck-up scene. I'm coming back forever if she'll have me. Listen. Okay, listen. I may not make the plane this afternoon. I don't know. I'm trying. Listen, but tell her it's straight, kid. You know what I mean? I'm not... Who's Linda? That's just a name.
Oh my fucking god, dude. What a fucking wreck, man. Oh my god.
He came over and he said, I'd like to see you and so on. And he came over to my house and he was very drunk and very emotional, and said he'd just broken up with Linda, and would I, like, keep him company, and he was in despair, and so on and so on. And I was supposed to go up to San Francisco for a big press thing. And I thought, uh-oh, if I stay with this person, I'm really going to have a hard time, you know. But I always do the wrong thing. I always just say, oh, well, what the hell, you know, I'm going to try out something. So he stayed, and we spent the weekend together. And I took him down to the Hollywood Cemetery, and we went to visit Rudolph Valentino's grave, and we sat on Tyrone Power's bench, and we just had a really nice time, and we went up and had waffles at the New World and everything. And I didn't really know him well. I'd always been very scared of him. He always seemed very macabre to me. I thought he was a great poet. I didn't like his writing, but his prose writing. Anyway, that seemed to have cheered him up a lot, and he said, oh, I really love you. I'll love you forever. Just never leave me. I'll always be yours. You'll have a hard time getting rid of me, and so on. And so we just sort of stayed together, and we had periodic crises when he would get a call from Linda or something, and then he'd say, oh, I love Linda. I don't love you. And then he'd change his mind and say Linda was something else, and then we'd go together again. And essentially what we did is that he would come over to the house with a six-pack and drink himself into a sort of stupor and watch television, which evidently he'd never watched before. So we watched endless television, and in between watching television, I kind of fed him Alka-Seltzer and sort of shoved him out of bed and got him up and sent him off home where he'd go and work, and kind of bumbled around. But he was really interesting in a way, because I kept thinking between all this alcoholism and hostility and confusion, somewhere was the person who wrote the poems, you know. And I read a lot of the poems, and they were really marvelous to me, very sparse and full of images, and the language was interesting, even though he would always say he was uneducated and didn't know how to pronounce Dostoevsky and didn't this and didn't that. He was always tried to present himself as a sort of primitive person, you know, as an uncultured person, but he really wasn't. And he hates any other person who's successful. And he says God has been kind to him because he hasn't been successful. But every little intimation of success he just loves. Mm-hmm. So as God gets less kind to him, he's happier. And he says, I'll get spoiled
That's
if I
so
get
smart.
famous. At the same time, you know, he really wants to get famous, and he's consoling himself with this kind of structure that he's got. He always chose what I consider really unthreatening positions where he didn't have to utilize his sensitivities or his intelligence. He always chose menial labor. But he doesn't really like those people, but he doesn't really like anybody as far as I can make out.
But his poetry kind of...
That's interesting.
Yeah, but he's not like his poetry, unfortunately, ever.
No one's like their poetry.
He's never liked that. He doesn't talk like that. He doesn't... I think the poems are the Hank that really exists somewhere, which he's afraid to be. But he's very uncomfortable with any affection or any peacefulness. Or he likes tension and really, basically, he likes hostility. I don't know. I began to think this isn't exactly the life I want to live, because we never go anywhere and we never do anything except sit and watch television and listen to this kind of hostile kind of outpouring all the time. And I don't want to get into hostilities, and I don't want to have that kind of a relationship. At the same time, I was so fascinated by this man.
I told her I didn't love her.
All of this is in the book Women.
And that she shouldn't love me.
And
I was coming off a bad bounce off of Sunset.
a lot of the short stories and Notes of a Dirty Old Man, parts of this trickle in.
And I'd warn her about all this goddamn shit. And, you know, maybe it'd be 9:30 in the morning, she'd come rushing in from the kitchen or something, and she'd say, she'd throw her arms around me and say, I don't love you, but I almost love you, I almost love you, I almost love you. I thought, oh Christ, I failed, because she does love me. But in a sense, it was my fault. Because if I didn't want her to love me, I shouldn't have been laying around in her damn triple bed, you know, like in her color TV and all that. So I'm the scoundrel in the picture. I'm the louse. You know, it's awfully easy to be a louse. Look, how many women have you had, man? You bounce around between women just like anyone else. You gotta keep bouncing till you find, you know. Then you find they bounce. It's just like a ping pong thing, you know. It keeps happening. Human relationships are very devious and involved.
When Bukowski came back from San Francisco, he did go back to Liza for, 2 or 3 days. And then he called me and came over. I was pretty mad about the fight we'd had up there, but, Bukowski's very charming when he wants to be. And he reseduced me all over again, and we got back together. We've had 7 million fights, and we got back together. I didn't know if it was the last time. I kind of thought it would be the last time that time, because I've never left him in another city before. Left him dozens of times in L.A., but I've never left him in San Francisco.
How did you go scratching?
And I thought he was going to hit me. And he has hit me before. That's why I was afraid of it, you know. So I jumped up, and I wasn't about to let him hit me. And I grabbed a pen off the stove, and I scratched him, I bit him, I kicked my foot through the door, and I left. I picked up my bag, and I left.
Her face looks like Bukowski.
Yeah, that's who it is. I fell in love with his writing before I ever met him. I got 3 or 4 of his books before I ever asked to sculpture him. I got Notes for a Dirty Old Man and 2 or 3 of his poetry books. I thought it was great. I read his books all night long. Then I wrote him a letter and asked if I could sculpture
There's the head.
his head, and he said yes. And I went over and got pictures of him. I didn't intend to get involved with Bukowski at all, because I knew he was. I'd heard of his reputation as a drinker before I ever met him, and I just didn't think it would happen. But it did happen. He's got a marvelous writing talent, and man, he used it on me. He seduced me through the mail, and he'd go home and he'd write back about the day. He'd write these marvelous long love letters. Oh, I've got some of the greatest love letters you ever heard in your life. This was part of it, I think. I think all women love letters, you know. God, I got hotter and hotter and hotter until finally I just gave in. Said, okay, good, I'll take it.
I have lots of trouble with my women, you know. They read my poetry, and I read all these profundities. Oh, well, call them that. Then, you know, you get in bed with them, you talk with them, you live with them for 4 or 5 days. And they're waiting for you to say these grand statements. You know, you march across the room, and you're supposed to say,
This is all true.
Death has 12 wings like the angel of hell. But people aren't built that way. You say, hey, baby, why don't you make me a cup of coffee? Well, that's not very poetic. They don't understand that. They read your poetry and they expect you to go marching around with flames coming out of your ass and your ears, making all these statements. Well, human nature's not like that. Because you save your balls and your juice for that typewriter.
Yep.
And sometimes they resent that. They almost realize it. I mean, so if you say it all to them, you're not going to say it to the machine. So it finally becomes a war between the machine and the woman.
Ugh, preach.
I've told them
Jesus
all,
fucking Christ, dude.
Between you and that typewriter, baby, you've got to go. And that's it. Is that true? It's true. It's true right now. It's true to Linda. It's true shoot any woman I've met, will meet, will ever meet in heaven, hell, or anywhere else. That's the woman. I almost said that's the whore. Jesus.
But if the women go, does the inspiration go?
Yeah, but the women always seem to show up again. I wouldn't advise women to anybody. I wouldn't advise them to you or to me. What are you going to do?
Pasadena for winners. Starting as winners. Pasadena. Here you go. Here. Great graduates.
Oh, the game in there.
This is my best customer.
Well, fans running. Crazy is going. Today at the Oak Tree meet. Delay's rule, the 12 horse around 12 to 1, that was the first race. They had a different janitor in the men's room. I didn't have the second race either, Bold Courage around 19 to 1. My Kentucky lard got a dead ride from the boy who stood up in the saddle all the way, which is hardly a way to ride a 2 to 1 shot. And I got a roast beef sandwich for $1.25. If you're going to go broke, you might as well eat well. And in the third, Granby had to pull up to avoid Factional who came over on him. The stewards argued for 15 minutes before allowing it to stand. And there I was, $52 down and the mountains were dry. Life was hardly worthwhile. Then the four, Babin and Bob, I think was the play, but I went to Misty Repose, who got locked in the one hole at 6 furlongs and had nothing left when he swung out. Abe Bob won handily, and I was $67 down. The coffee was $0.25, and the coffee girl looked like an ex-prostitute, which she probably wasn't. And then in the fifth, Christy Starr took it at 13 to 1, and I was third, I think, with Old Street. I can't beat those maiden races, and I was $77 down and bought a hot dog, which cost 50 cents and was gone in 2 bites. And then I had to go 20 win on Nearbrook, which won by 6 or 7 lengths, but at 4 to 5. So I'm still $65 down, and the mountains are still dry. But nobody is talking to me or bothering me. There's a chance. I put 15 win on Moving Express and 5 win on Choctaw Charlie, and CC comes in at 8 to 1. And then I'm only $37 down, and we have the 8th race. Manta at 3 to 5 was a rather obvious bet. I looked for something to beat her with and came up with Hollywood Gossip. Manta went on by, but I've been afraid of that and only gone 5 wins. I was $42 down with 1 race to go.
Oh my God.
I put 20 win on Vesperl and 10 win on Cedar Cross. And Cedar Cross ran dead. And Vesperl went wire to wire. So that was 72 down before the race, and you take the $84 payoff, and you got $12 profit. There you go. Behind for 8 races, winner in the 9th. Nothing big, but bankroll intact. This comes, my friends, out of years of training. There are thoroughbred horses and thoroughbred betters. What you do is stay with your plays and let them come to you. Loving a woman is the same way, or loving life. You got to work a bit for it. In a day or 2, I'll go again and get off better. You'll see me that night having a quiet drink at the track bar as the losers run for the parking lot. Don't talk to me or bother me, and I won't bother you. All right? I haven't grown up like the way I thought when I was 17. I still think now at 52. I mean, my idea is have remained stable. I haven't grown up, if that's the way you put it.
Is your writing any better?
I think the writing's better because the experience came in and fattened it up, you know. Like gave me more volume or a bigger band to play. I'll tell you something else occurred to me now, since you guys want to listen to things, want to listen to some shit. I feel like throwing this beer right in your face.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I always thought sometime in my life this time might come a little bit. Like guys marching in on me with cameras and all that shit. Somehow I almost felt it and knew it.
Because he wanted it.
And I was always going to crash it down and say, jammed up your ass. You know, they got to me too late. I don't think I can be destroyed, basically. I don't think they can destroy me. I'm too strong. They came too late with too little.
His mouth is moving
The
slow.
young blondes with the tight pussies came too late. The cameras came too late. Don't grin at me like that, it's true. They came too late, I'm too strong. The gods have really put a good shield over me, man. They really have. I've been toughened up at the right time and the right place. Or so goes the delusion. But I really feel it. The gods have been good to me. They really have. They're still good to me. Christ. I've got it.
He talks about the young blondes when both of his chicks in this are brunettes. Hysterical. And that is the Bukowski documentary by Taylor Hackford. Joe Creasy. I guess that's the dude. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look him up. But yeah, I didn't really have a whole lot to say because, like, with documentaries, things just happen and you listen and watch. But hopefully that was interesting. And if you read Women or any of the stories and things that came out around this time, like early 70s through the mid 70s, a lot of this stuff you're gonna hear, you know. I missed if it said what track that was. I missed it, so that's fine. But anyway, I hope that was fun for y'all. I hope that was a good time. So, with all of that said, I will talk to you all later.
I just want to give a quick thanks to those people who make these videos possible. Anarchy Crew and my followers on Patreon. I appreciate the hell out of you guys. Thank you so much for keeping me going to keep this content possible. You guys are awesome. And if you'd like to join the crew or the Anarchy Crew, just hit the join button beneath this video. And if you'd like to become a member of my Patreon, you can run over to the link down below to do that as well. Thank you.